Hey guys, Oni here. Today I'm going to be beating SMT5 Vengeance while only using magic skills to deal damage, meaning no physical skills, and magic skills that scale from strength like Murakumo are also banned.
Can I use physical?
I'm getting there. This challenge isn't just limited to the Naobina though, so I can't let any demons use physical, meaning no physical based demons like Yoshitsune. Also, the game has to be on hard mode, and I'll try to be on the same level as the boss 90% of the time. If I get completely stuck, I'll allow myself to get to a maximum of 5 levels higher than the boss. Final note that I'll be allowing myself to use Grimoires and Gospels to level up, since these videos already take a really long time and they kind of just speed up the process of leveling up like myself and my allies. On the first day of school I named myself Magic because I'm not creative, and the teacher told us to go home in groups for some reason. Then while I was walking home with Yuzuru and the gang, we came across this crime scene where a demon ate someone in broad daylight apparently. Okay. I'm just gonna go use this tunnel to go home.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Then we got sent to another world where we were all split up in the process, and I immediately get surrounded by demons. Then some futuristic looking guy named Aogami fell out of the sky and taught me the fusion dance so we could fight off the demons together. Luckily Naobino starts off with lightning by default, so unlike some other challenge runs, I can fully begin the challenge right away. Then I recruited a pixie and a slime, only to realize slime is pretty much useless since he can only use lunge right now. Then I fought off a bunch of Preta that were picking on a weaker demon, and I low-key got scared because I realized I was out of MP and neither of my demons had magic attacks, but luckily I bought a fire shard earlier which I used to finish them off. Then I made my way to the first abscess where I remembered they're weak to fire attacks, where I won pretty easily, and that demon I helped earlier named Monozako gave me a bead. Nice.
Look out!
For this fight it forces Yuzuru and Yoko on the team, but it's actually a good thing since Yoko can use magic attacks that this guy's weak to. Then I went to fight the mermaid early mini boss, which is necessary since beating her unlocks divine amalgamation, which allows me to change my resistances, which will actually allow me to prepare for bosses. After clearing that abscess I recruited Sandman and Pulade since I'll need their ice skills for the Hydra fight. Then I went to the next abscess and got through it pretty easily without even having to change resistances. Then to prepare for the Hydra boss fight I grabbed the Daemon Essence so I could be immune to dark attacks, recruited Azumi, fused Mermaid, and leveled up a bit. Then I went to fight Hydra. This fight's pretty easy as long as you utilize buffs and debuffs correctly, so I made sure to lower his attack and increase my defense, which helped until he got Fire Breath off and wiped my entire team. But that's still okay since I can... Okay, never mind. Let's run it back. And he did it again. Then I made it really close, but my entire team got eliminated, so I ended up dying. Then I tried to make sure he constantly has his attack fully debuffed and used Pallade to cast Rakukaja on everyone except himself, and mostly relied on Mermaid's Stormcaller song for big ice damage, while using Yoko to heal everyone and occasionally get some damage in with ice gems. I'm no dark, so I didn't really have to block when he uses a Magatoki critical. Then we ended up getting some lucky dodges and winning the fight. After I won, Goku heard I was pretty strong and came by to teach me how to instant transmission to leyline founts. Then I had to fight Nama, which I wasn't excited at all for since I can't even use physical skills to actually hit her weakness, but she isn't resistant to light attacks, so I just need some of those. She's still annoying though since she's gonna spam charm on me the entire time, but at least she can't really damage me since all she uses are dark attacks with a bit of almighty drain sprinkled in there. To prepare for the fight I cleared an abscess and beat up some demons so I could get to level 17. Also, I realized there aren't really demons with Hama this early on, so I just tried to win without it. This time I pretty much just debuffed her the entire time while buffing Mermaid's defense since she was yet again my main damage dealer since she was the multi-hit ice. And most of the time I waited until we got a Magatoki critical to do big damage, and I nulled all of her dark, so I was fine, but I had to heal all my teammates every time. Then eventually everyone ran out of MP, so I had to resort to using my remaining items to finish her off, and Yoko dealt the final blow again. She really likes finishing these bosses off. Before I can get into the diet building where I'll have to fight Nua, I gotta listen to the request of some angels to go fight a mini boss. Eligor and his two Andras aren't the biggest deal since they're just weak to lightning, which I already have. Then they attack with fire, physical, and force, which nobody on my team is weak to, so I made pretty quick work of them. That's weird. Where'd those angels from earlier go?
I'm detecting a demon.
My name is Nua. Prepare to die.
Alright, now it's time to fight Nua. She's pretty scary, but at least I only need to get her to about half health for the fight to end, which I think takes around 3,000 damage, so it's not too bad as long as I can survive. Her main element is force, so I made sure to use Sudama's essence to null that, and I just thugged out her lightning attacks. Then she's weak to fire, so I made sure to fuse Jack-o'-lantern a while ago. The fight itself was pretty straightforward. I started with debuffing her attack and defense all the way and pretty much just spammed any fire attacks I had with everyone over and over again until she managed to kill my Jack-o'-lantern. So I just revived him and started the same process over again until she activated a Magatoki critical. So I made everyone except Naobino block since he knows it, and we all managed to withstand it. Then we just hit her with fire attack after fire attack and won. Then I returned to Tokyo, temporarily joined Bethel, and started walking to school until another Nama boss fight, but this time I'm getting jumped. I actually remembered this fight was coming, so right after making it back to Tokyo, I instantly went back to the Netherworld to get Damon's Essence back for Null Dark, then leveled up in Angel so I could unlock Hama for myself, but also have a strong light user on my team since he isn't weak to light, but it's the only thing she doesn't resist that I'm allowed to use. Dang, I'm dying to these force attacks a lot. I'll bring some dampeners next time. I keep dying! Since I needed just a little bit more damage to get Glacia out of the way but kept dying right before I could, I decided to level up my team a bit in the Netherworld and come back to try again. This time I managed to take down Glacia but had to revive most of my team since they all still died. But now with Glacia out of the way, I just had to carefully endure Nama's attacks and wait out her charm statuses until I got a Magatoki critical and could deal big damage to her. Then I endured more of her attacks and waited for my Magatsuhi to fill while debuffing her attack and defense along the way, and finished her off with another Magatoki critical Hama. After that, I was informed that the seal preventing demons from invading Tokyo at Jozoji Temple was destroyed, so I headed there and figured out demons were attacking the school, which means another boss fight. But I'm so ready for this. Once I got there, I had to fight Lamu, which I felt really prepared for since it's weak to light and force skills, which I already had light because I needed it to damage Nama, and I already have force from High Pixie. Then the level difference was already covered since I needed to level up a bit to face Nama. I am ready. High Pixie ended up dying, so I swapped in Angel and won pretty easily since Lamu also uses dark attacks, which I nullify. After we won, Tao and Sahori embraced, and then they got slimed out brutally by Lilith. Well, at least Tao managed to survive. Then we figured out a bunch of students were kidnapped, including Yuzuru's sister, so we went to go save them. I talked to the rest of the students, leveled up a bit, used Nozuchi's essence to resist physical and poison for Aishith, and Kikuri Hime's essence to learn Zanma. Then I encountered Aishith and got killed immediately, since apparently critting every other turn is just allowed here. After a couple more attempts, I managed to deal half of her health in the second turn by debuffing her to the max on the first turn, then using a Magatoki critical and using force gems for heavy force damage. Aishith then revealed that she's an alchemist by using the law of equivalent exchange to lose half of her health, then proceed to instantly kill half my team. But it's okay, we still got it. Okay, so it's just me now. I hit her with some strong force attacks, then I used a physical dampener on my extra press turn to null her next attack, and after that I hit her with another force attack and had a dilemma. She's really low right now, so do I take the big risk and try to finish her off now, or do I block/heal to potentially increase my odds for later? I ended up putting everything on the line with one last Zanma. And it worked, I won, let's go. Right after I beat Aishith while I was on my way to the fairy village, I picked up Aogami Essence 4 for Ruinous Thunder, which will be my first heavy skill and my main skill against Fion, who's the next boss on the list. Then I got pulled up on by Fion, but just prior to that I found like Ruinous Thunder, which is his main weakness, so it was an easy fight. So after getting obliterated for like an hour, I had to level up to come back to beat him. Somehow, no matter what run I'm doing, I always struggle with this fight. Guess I just don't have the right strategy for this one. I leveled up one more time and used the strategy of buffing my defense and evasion to the max while debuffing his attack to the max and waiting till I have full Magatsuhi to debuff his defense. And have the whole team just spam lightning attacks on him. Also, I used taunts with Naobino since he can tank more attacks than my other demons. Eventually, it turned into a fight of stamina and I had to use several chakra drops and almighty MP drains to keep up with him. But in the end, we won by keeping that consistent strategy. After I beat him, I went to the fairy village, delivered some golden apples to Oberon, and found out Yuzuru is going after Miyazu right now, so I went to go help out. I've never wanted to be Miyazu so bad until now. Anyways, Aisha told Yuzuru she'll free his sister if he kills me, and since he's stupid, he believed her and decided to fight me. It let him go first and he brutalized me, so I had to come back with a slightly different setup to try again. The annoying thing about this fight is that Yuzuru isn't actually all that strong himself, but Hayataro uses a move that makes it so I can only target him, so I have to kill him first. Yuzuru spams ice and fire attacks while Hayataro uses physical, and I have to increase everyone's defense a lot to survive, and I have Mushuyu to heal so we can scrape by. Then I use my force gems and Zanma to deal big damage to Hayataro. Another annoying thing is that after you beat Hayataro, Yuzuru will use his next turn to revive and summon him back. So after going through that cycle a couple times, I managed to get to a turn where I could attack Yuzuru again, and notice none of my demons can do big fire damage like I can, so I decided to make a big risk reward move and unsummon all of them so Naobino can use fire gems on every press turn, and that play ended up working.
Sorry.
After that, we saved Miyazu, Yuzuru apologized for betraying us, and we headed back to the fairy village only to see that someone released the Shinokuni gas. After that, I fused Alice. Join my crew! Then I cleared some abscesses and went to a meeting with Tsukuyomi where I was given the task of investigating more weird demon activity in Tokyo. After the investigation, I figured out the culprit was most likely a big crow. Then I went with Tao to check out a new section of the Netherworld. As soon as we made it to Shinjuku, an angel pulled up on us and he was not expecting most of my whole party to be made up of dark users, and he got obliterated by the murder child. Then I first tried an abscess, but I'm not gonna lie, it was still a struggle though. That struggle paid off though, since clearing it unlocked more skill slots for my demons and I. Then I picked up an Aogami essence and saw it. My first almighty skill, let's go. Then I remembered I forgot to go recruit Idun, so I went to fight Loki, won somewhat easily, and then unlocked fusion for Idun. Then I wandered around some more and got pulled up on by more angels who got no-diffed again since Alice can just obliterate them. After that, I got jumped by a whole army of angels in a waves battle. It really felt like an endurance challenge, but we ended up pulling through without any deaths since Alice can just insta-kill them. Then I went to another Bethel meeting and found out Miyazu was captured again. Tao, why you try not to laugh, bro? Anyways, we made it to Kanchu, and I tried doing a funny strategy of giving all the turns to Naobino, and I got brutalized, which made me realize this fight's gonna be a little bit tougher than I thought. So I fought him again with the strategy of having Yuzuru use Witness Me, so Kanchu will focus attacks on him. Then I used Idun to heal and buff everyone at the same time, while Sarasvati and I concentrated ourselves to get big magic damage by the time we get a Magatoki critical. We got some good damage in with that strategy, but eventually I realized I'm attacking with Bufula, which is medium ice damage, when I could be using my ice gems to do heavy ice damage. And luckily, gems do in fact scale for my element proficiency and magic stat, so it's basically a temporary Bufudyne. I used a concentrated ice gem with a Magatoki critical and did 900 damage. I considered swapping out my teammates for a big solo rush, but decided Kanchu isn't low enough for that yet, so I tried to hold out until the next Magatoki critical, and by then I had used all of my MP restoration items, so Sarasvati could no longer attack, and Idun could no longer heal/buff. So I used critical, swapped everyone else out, and hit Kanchu with ice gem after ice gem after ice gem, and finished him off with my Bufula. If you think about it, I basically hit him with a makeshift Magatoki succession. Well, except they're all crits. Anyways, after I brutally beat up Kanchi within an inch of his life, he found out it was a misunderstanding and that he'll be watching over her since Yuzuru alone clearly isn't strong enough to watch over Miyazu. After that, I went to go investigate the crow that was turning people into salt, only to find out it was the angel known as Mastama's doing. He ended up turning Dazai into salt and telling us he'd turn him back if we defeat the Kadishu, which we were already planning on, so okay. Then as soon as we left, he turned him back and started manipulating him with power. Then we heard something weird was happening at Josuji Temple, so I went to investigate and ended up having to fight Yakumo and Nuwa. Taking down Yakumo was easy enough since I already had plenty of demons with dark skills and max debuffed his defense while buffing and concentrating my attacks. But Nuwa was pretty difficult since I didn't really have fire skills to hit her with, so I hit her with some Almighty and Fire Shards. Had to swap around some demons, realized I don't have any MP left, so I used items to finish her off.
Take this!
After that, I met up with Bethel Japan to tell them what happened with Yakumo and was told the Kadishu were in Shinjuku, so I went to go check it out. I immediately got pulled up on by Agrit. Oh my goodness! Anyway, she beat me like very fast with their Almighty spam, so I leveled up my demons a bit using the statues. Gave myself Inflaming Divinity so I could buff myself by 2 states without needing Aiden to do it for me. But also I gave Aiden Spirit Drain, so on turns where she's usually just waiting doing nothing, now she can constantly build up her MP for the next buff. Alright, now it's time to fight her for real. My strategy was using Aiden to heal / buff everybody, buffing myself with Inflaming Gaming, having Alice debuff her accuracy and evasion to hopefully avoid taking hits altogether while making her lose press turns, then having Sarasvati decrease her defense. Dodge successful. So then I activated a Magatoki critical and hit Agrit for 620 damage, which is good, but I could do way more with Concentrate, and if Agrit's defense was all the way down. Then I made Sarasvati give me Concentrate, and this time it did 800 damage, which still isn't the peak yet. Then after a couple turns of making sure I have the perfect buff / debuff setup, concentrate on Nahobino and full Magatsuhi, I activated a Magatoki critical. This time my Ruinous Thunder at full potential dealt 1300 damage, and Alice dealt like 900 something damage. Then I dealt 700 more and started the buff / debuff healing cycle all over again until the next Magatoki critical, which doesn't really take that long to build up since I have Evergreen Dance to boost it up more every turn. One turn I got really scared because she kept critting on her Queen's Decree, so we were getting hit with so many Almighty attacks, but luckily nobody died. Alice got to like 50 health though, big yiker. She started her Magatoki critical, so I had Aiden reapply buffs and everyone else blocked. I was a little worried for Aiden, but luckily she just used a Bufu Berry on Alice and I, but I null it. So then I started the next Magatoki critical, let Aiden get a hit in, and even though she had a decent amount of health left, I wanted to watch the full cutscene of Ruinous Thunder just in case this fully killed. And it actually did, bro. I won with so many turns left, that was overkill. Then I went to go fight all the Kadishu at once and made it pretty far since I got them down to just Lilith, but I got stamina diff since I have a limited amount of MP while she can infinitely revive the other Kadishu over and over again. So I decided this time I wanted to level up a bit, especially to make up for the fact that Nama's really hard to kill since I can't even use her weakness. After losing to them so many times, I realized I just needed to hit them all at once instead of individually, so I started using Almighty instead of focusing on individual weaknesses. Aiden's main role in this fight is using Bowl of Hygeria to give people overhealth anytime she heals / buffs, and using Force Gems on Aisha. Sarasvati's main role is reducing the Kadishu's defense and giving me Concentrate for more than double damage on my magical skills each turn. And Alice's goal is to debuff the enemy or buff our attack and use items like physical dampeners for Aishith, ice dampeners for Agrit, and MP restoration items on everyone when we get low. Despite her not being a main attacker here, she's still very important since anyone else spending their turn on an item would feel kind of like it's wasting one of their other options. I spent most of the fight doing the usual tactic of getting all my setup in and waiting for Magatsuhi for a big critical rush, but eventually I stopped waiting and started just attacking constantly to pressure down their numbers, and anytime they had all Kadishu available and gathered Magatsuhi, I hard targeted one, usually Agrit, to make sure they can't do anything the next turn. Aiden having Spirit Drain came in handy for this fight since there were a few turns where I didn't really want to waste a heal / buff yet, so instead of her having to wait and do nothing, she could actually build up her MP more while everyone else attacks. Eventually she got back Nama and Aishith, but I wasn't concerned in the slightest, so I hit her with a Divine Arrow Fall, and ironically the demon with negative potential for light attacks, and the demon who's not really been attacking this entire time, Alice, ended up dealing the final blow to Lilith using a light gem.
You lost to Alice using light.
Then, even though I managed to kill all of the Kadishtu, it was still too late and Tiamat was summoned using me as the catalyst. While we were sinking into the void, I heard Tao's voice calling to me, and Algami decided that no matter what I must live, so he ended up sacrificing himself so I could make it out. By the time I'd woke up, Dazai, who'd been consumed by power and self-righteousness, murdered Yuzuru to prevent him from becoming a Nahobino. Once Dazai and Abdiel left after taunting us some more, Tsukuyomi and I decided that with my power dead and his knowledge killed, we should try to fuse with each other instead.
Young man, let us fight together.
Then I went back to the government building where I met up with Mastema, and he told me whoever's controlling Tiamat is at the Shakan, and also Abdiel will be there. Abdiel being there was pretty much all I needed to hear, by the way. So then I traversed the Shakan, killed some cherubim, and met up with Abdiel. She tried telling me to leave, but I don't take orders from archangels anymore, so we ended up fighting, and I immediately noticed I did so much damage to her. Eventually, she ended up taking down Sarasvati, but I wasn't even worried since the entire fight she was pretty pathetic. In the end, I let Alice finish her off. Then Tao came back and revealed that her soul was reborn as a goddess after she died, and she informed me Tokyo's fading away, which means the recreation of the world is getting closer. So he set off to find the keys to the Temple of Eternity so I could use the Empyrean to recreate the world. So then I went off clearing abscesses, leveling up, and fusing stronger demons.
I got Magic Yoshitsune.
Eventually I ran into Beelzebub guarding one of the keys, and he agreed to give it to me if I beat him up, so I started fighting him and was doing really good until I got cocky and didn't block. Then he used a Magatoki critical and hit me with force, so I just died. I kept dying to him over and over again, and eventually I realized the main problem was that Agrit's weak to lightning, and he kept hitting her with Shockbound, which led to him getting way more turns than he should and being able to spam attacks at everyone. To fix this, I grabbed a Lachesis essence to give Agrit Null Elec, and used another essence to give Agrit Agabarion, just so it could be a little bit stronger, and I went back to fight him. I did a lot of damage the second turn and had Aiden use Energy Drain to keep her MP up until he killed her, so I swapped in Tao to fill in for the buff/heals. I also made her use Samurai Charm to revive Aiden at full health, so when Tao got targeted, I could just get Aiden back in here, and each time a demon dies, I get more Magatsuhi meter. So he was really speeding up my attack cycle, and eventually I got to a turn where I knew he was cooked.
Should I let Aiden finish him off? Or should I have Agrit finish him off?
Do Aiden. Aiden is way here.
Aiden, use a fire gem. Oh no, it only got him a centimeter lower. Alright, I guess it's
Okay.
Agrit that'll do it.
The next key is held by Zeus and Odin, who are both weak to force, so to prepare for that, I fused Lilith and got her essence so I could get force skills on myself as well. Then I used a bunch of glory to max out my force potential, since I remember this fight being tough for me in the past, so I needed that extra damage. The final preparation I did was using Naho Biho's essence on myself so I could resist physical and null lightning, so their main sources of damage wouldn't be so bad against me. I went to fight them and used the same strategy as last time of having Aiden first to buff everyone, Sarasvati to debuff defense, and Lilith and I concentrated. The next turn we fully buff and debuff, activate a Magatoki critical, and Lilith and I both use Mazen Barian to deal severe damage to both of them. After repeating this barely a few more times, they were almost dead. They managed to kill Sarasvati, but it was way too late since at this point I'd already won. This time, everyone, including Aiden, started unleashing their strongest force attacks. Keep in mind, Aiden has high force pleroma, so she can 100% keep up with everyone else's damage. Odin managed to survive the assault, and he started preparing his own Magatoki critical, but as soon as it was our turn again, Aiden threw a force gem at him, and he died instantly. So, yeah, I might have over-prepared and ended up no-diffing the fight on the first try, but Oh well, I mean, better safe than sorry, I guess. After that, I went to go grab Aogami Essence D so I could get Heavenly Ikiyumi, which is the strongest almighty magic attack in the game. It's slightly conditional though, since it gets stronger based on how debuffed the enemy is, meaning it'll do medium damage by default and severe damage when the enemy is like fully debuffed to the max. Then I entered the Temple of Eternity and progressed until I ran into Metatron, who has no weaknesses, so I went with that almighty skill I learned earlier, Heavenly Ikiyomi. I died to him a bunch of times because somehow while recording this I didn't realize I was under his level, and one time I got this really good setup where he was fully debuffed, I was fully buffed, and had Magatsuhi meter fully ready, so I removed all my teammates to give turns to the Naobino and activate critical. But then I missed and died. Nah. On the actual winning attempt, I made that same high risk high reward play of swapping everyone out again, and I missed again. I think this game just hates me at this point. Somehow I survived that fumble though and swapped in some of my teammates one turn at a time. He kept killing them over and over again, so eventually I started swapping in some demons I usually wouldn't have out at the same time, like Idun and Tau, then Lilith and Agrit. But I was getting desperate until I saw him get to low health, so I was just swapping all of them in. And then eventually he killed Tau right in front of me, and with just Lilith and I left standing, I made Lilith take his debuffs off us, activated a Magatoki succession for 4 hits, and started my Heavenly Ikuyomi.
My aim is true.
And it finished him off. Let's go. I actually did 0 prep between the Metatron fight and the Dazai Abdiel fight since I forgot it's right after. I was even a level under them again, but it didn't really matter. I was beating them up pretty bad until eventually I killed Dazai, then everyone just jumped Abdiel and Agrit finished her off. Anyways, after that I entered the Empyrean and made my way through clearing all the demons guarding the way to the throne. Once I made it there, I used most of my glory to unlock my full almighty potential. Then when Tau and I reached the throne, Yoko showed up and asked me to join her in making a world ruled by nobody, and in every other run I've joined Yoko, so this time I made sure to pick a bunch of law options since I was curious about Tau's ending. Yoko got mad and summoned Tiamat, and I was doing pretty well for a while since I drained all of its ice attacks, but eventually it stopped doing those and I couldn't keep up, so I died. I got an idea to switch out Agrit for Lilith and try again since she can target one of the heads that's weak to force. I started with the same setup I always do of just buffing with Idun, debuffing with Sara's body, then Lilith and I concentrate. They lost all their turns because I drained ice, so once it was my turn again, I finished the buffs and debuffs, then activated a Magatoki critical to take out the camel head, and I had Naobino attack Tiamat's main body directly. The reason I chose to attack like this is because every time you take out one of Tiamat's heads, 2000 health is subtracted from the main body to bring the head back. Lilith using force to strike that specific head's weakness pretty much maxes her at around that level of damage, while me using Heavenly Ikuyomi, while they're fully debuffed, can do way more than 2000. So it's just more efficient to attack the main body instead. After a couple more cycles of that, Tiamat activated their Magatsuhi gauge, meaning next turn they'll use Annihilation Ray, which deals really big, severe, like physical damage to my entire party. Wait, did you hear that? Physical? Remember how I swapped Lilith in? Her unique skill Mother Earth nulls physical damage and removes all debuffs for the entire party, so anytime Tiamat tried using its ultimate, I just completely cancelled it out with Mother Earth. Eventually, Idun ran out of MP to keep buffing us, so I swapped in Tau and got ready for another Magatoki critical. This time was interesting since no buffs or debuffs had to be reapplied, so pretty much anyone could do whatever they wanted with their turns. Meaning I could take down a head and I can hit Tiamat's main body with 2 Heavenly Ikuyomis and deal like 12,000 damage in one turn. After a bit, Tiamat tried using its ultimate again, but Lilith nullified it for everyone again. Then I didn't even wait for my Magatsuhi to come back to just break one of the heads and hit Tiamat with another Heavenly Ikuyomi. And in retaliation, Tiamat killed Tau, Sarasvati, and I, but I had a whittled goat, so I came back at full health. Then Tiamat finished its turn by removing 1 layer of my debuff on it and healing itself. With 2 turns, a full Magatoki gauge, and Tiamat at low health, I made the choice to remove Lilith from the team so I'd have an extra turn to myself and activated a Magatoki succession. This combined with my other turn means I have 5 shots to kill Tiamat in this one turn. If Tiamat doesn't die here, then all of its heads will attack me and I'll undoubtedly die. Even knowing all this, I wasn't scared. I had full confidence in my damage, and this is what happened.
My aim is true.
And let's go, there it is, we got him. I killed Tiamat, but it turns out it was way too early to celebrate since right after it died it rebuilt itself and shot an annihilation ray at us, killing Tsukuyomi. But Aogami managed to make it out of Tiamat since it was destroyed and had to rebuild itself, so we fused and severed its immortality. Then Yoko gave herself up to summon Tehom, and it was my first time fighting Tehom instead of Mastema, so I died pretty quickly, but I understand it now. Tehom's weak to every element in the game, but if you hit it with something it's weak to, then it'll attack you with that element and drain that element's damage the next turn. And once it drains everything, it'll use an almighty attack and then reset to being weak to everything. The strategy I came up with is hard targeting one element each turn and saving a Magatoki for the highest damage element. Now Albino can mostly ignore these rules since Heavenly Ikuyomi does more damage than all the other elements anyway. I still ended up dying the second try whenever it hit me with its almighty move, but it really just solidified that my strategy works. Just need a way for everyone to withstand that almighty attack. Next attempt I made it to that same almighty attack again, but this time I was ready at full health and managed to survive with only 2 demon losses. So I started reviving everyone and preparing for the next attack, used lightning because I null it, and it decided to break pattern. It used Megid alone. So I might have crashed out and leveled up to the 5 levels higher limit, and I got it very low all the way to red health, but I ran out of MP for buffs and then it killed me with its ultimate again. I died a couple more times and realized my builds could be way more efficient, so I used some essences to give Idun Great Life Spring, Great Mana Spring, and Enduring Soul. So that way she could have way more survivability and much more mana, so I wouldn't have issues with running out too quickly again. Then I gave Sarasvati Great Mana Spring, Boon Boost EX, and Enduring Soul, so that way she'd have way more mana, her buffs last 3 extra turns so she wouldn't have to reapply them so often, and when she eventually dies, because I'm pretty sure she will end up dying anyway, she'll recover to full HP. Next I gave Agrid Enduring Soul so that if she dies she gets fully healed. Finally I gave myself Null Physical so when it starts spamming Catastrophe in the later phases I don't die. Then I gave myself Null Force just to get my one weakness out of the way. With all that, I decided I was ready to challenge Tehom for real this time. I used pretty much the exact same strategy as earlier, but I was a bit more aggressive since instead of having to reapply effects and worry about MP all the time, Iden and Sarasvati had more of a chance to spam elemental gems too, meaning I was getting a lot more damage out on Tehom. Inevitably, Iden did run out of MP later on in the fight, but I still have my crew! A couple weakness cycles later, I gotten Tehom so low I was pretty much making everyone hit its weaknesses with gems and using Heavenly Ikuyomi every turn, watching the full animation just because I knew I'd already won and one of these attacks would be the finisher.
My aim is true.
Take this!
I think it's really funny that I did this huge super cinematic move hoping it would finish Tehom off, only for Tao to come in with an ice gem and just murder Tehom anyway. Then I went to the Edge of Creation where Matter Lucy challenged me to a fight, and since he's pretty much null everything, I stuck to Agrid and my almighty skills, and when he temporarily made himself weak to fire or ice with the stars, I took slight advantage of it since Agrid has Agabarian and Bufu Baryon, and I have Moonlight Frost. I was pretty surprised at how little health he has since I ended up killing him very quickly and on the first try with literally like no preparation. To be honest, Tehom felt like much more of a final boss than Lucy did, but anyways, with all that out of the way, that answers the question of if you can beat SMP5 Vengeance with only magic skills. It was really only super difficult in the middle / end game. If you enjoy these type of videos, please leave a like and subscribe for more of this type of stuff. Also, if you want some sort of magic only continuation, like fighting Masakado magic only or Demi-Fiend, comment that down below and I might try eventually.